Hello everyone, this is Terence Tan, the Impossible Investor, for another US market update on Tuesday, 22nd of September. Now, so let's look at what the market has done in yesterday night's trading over here and what are some of the new updates that we can provide in terms of you trying to look for the next trade in the markets as a trader or as an investor over here. Okay, now, so if you can see the charts that I have on my screen right now, what I've done over here is to load an intraday chart of the price movements of the SPX, which is the S&P 500 index. Now, so we have the S&P 500 index opened with a very difficult hour over here where it opened and it just started plunging all the way down. And then we had the low that was hit in the second hour that touched 3230 levels, and we had the doji over there, and after that the market started climbing back up. Now, so we had kind of like a repeat of what we saw on Friday, okay, where we had the sellers come in and then they start to pull back out of the market, and we have these bottom bargain hunters which are coming into the market thinking that they are there to scoop up some bargains over here. Okay, now, so what does this bring for us? First up over here, what it brings is really this. Today, right? Today, when the market opens, if we are going to see that snapback rally, okay, that means after a severe sell-off, if you're going to see a rally over here, because it's instigated by the bottom hunters or buy on dips, that's what we will call them. What you need to see over here is that this resistance or the opening of yesterday basically gets taken out. Okay, if it gets taken out over here, then we may start to see some momentum going back on the upside. Okay, now, and looking on the daily basis over here, we are doing nothing much. All right, as I've said yesterday, we are still within this channel. So if we do not break on the upside of 3,390, okay, we're still pretty much going to be bouncing around this box zone that we're seeing, which goes from 3,390 to a low of about 3,000 over here. Okay, now, so we're pretty much still trading within that range, and the bears, okay, the bears right now have the advantage. Okay, so that's what it seems so far in the markets. Another development that we have saw yesterday was basically the fact that Apple, okay, Apple stock over here did a reversal over here yesterday. Okay, now, so it kind of erased all the losses that it kind of made on Friday with the big candle that we're seeing over here. This is actually kind of bullish on a single candle kind of pattern. Okay, but we must understand that if you can see over here, the shorter term support, okay, if I'm going to draw them, okay, the shorter term support over here has been broken. All right, and we closed right on the dot yesterday, which is 109.40 over here. All right, so if Apple is going to resume its up move back towards at least the middle of the Bollinger Band, which is about $120 right now, okay, it has to take out again this resistance level. Okay, so if Apple moves, the market is going to be positive, so the market is going to move along with Apple and what's going on. Okay, now, so yesterday was a day where we saw the financials were weak again, together with oil stocks. Okay, so as we look at some oil stocks over here, we could see that oil was basically having a pretty difficult day over here. Okay, and so did financials. Okay, so we had Citigroup over here, which is leading the down wave with the financials. Okay, so they had a break in the Bollinger Band. There is momentum on the downside. At the moment, the price candles are still outside the bottom of the band. So anyone who's trying to buy on dips over here, the time is not there yet. Okay, first, the moving average line is the middle line in the Bollinger Band is still sloping downwards. So that's still a downward trend on the stock. Okay, second, you have your RSI, which is still circling back downwards again. All right, so any bargain hunt trade, all right, is really jumping the gun right now. Okay, and plus another negative fact over here is this. If you look at the average daily volume of Citigroup over here, right, what you notice is the average volume goes about this level. Okay, and then we had two major sell-off days where, it was quite severe, because we had the first down candle where we saw Citigroup went from like $50 all the way to $48. Okay, that's like a $2 down move. And then followed by a second consecutive day where it went from 48, okay, all the way to 44. So a total of $6 over here in a sell-off move. And that has to be participated by some big boys over here, right? Because if you look at the spike in the volume, right, it is, severe heavy selling over here that is going off. So, if you want to touch the financial stock sector, Citigroup is definitely one that you might want to stay out of at this very moment. Okay, it has also broken out of the support that you see over here, all right, and that was a very convincing break. So at the moment, the downside strength has the potential. Now, some of you will be asking, Terence, what if I'm already in a trade right now? What should I be thinking of doing? Now, every sell-off over here would always have a comeback with a bounce. Okay, so if you happen to, see Citigroup, okay, perhaps maybe bounce somewhere close back to the support level, which is at $49 over here. All right, anywhere along that line, as long as you have acceptable loss or some profiting situation, you should really consider getting out of Citigroup over here, because it may just come back, test the resistance right now, and then hit the resistance, okay, and then after that start traveling back downwards again, okay, to resume the downward trend. Now, who's to say it won't happen? All right, we really won't know. Okay, but with the markets that is doing what they do right now, the bears definitely have the advantage. So at the moment, I think the phase in the market will be to sell any rallies and to really not buy on the dips. And if you really have to buy on the dips, do so with options where you get some margin of safety. But if you don't, buying on dips over here can quickly turn against you. So are there any bargains in the market out there? Yes, there definitely is going to be, right? Because we were eyeing a trade on Kroger yesterday, and I think I did mention this in the video as well. All right, Kroger was actually very positive yesterday, okay, amidst the whole market sell-off. All right, it was holding very, very firm. All right, and that was basically a confirmation with, the sell-off that we saw in Kroger has been exhausted. All right, so we are going to see some short-term at least. All right, short-term bounce on Kroger at least to the perhaps close to the $34 level, right? Before we may see another selling coming in place. Yeah. Okay. Now, so Kroger was definitely something that we were eyeing at yesterday. Okay. There were many other stocks that we're still waiting on the sidelines right now. Okay, but it is not the right time yet. Okay. For example, okay, we have GIS, which is General Mills. Okay, and it has also recently suffered a pretty severe sell-off. Okay, and if we look at it over here, what we have right now is GIS having a box effect over here with a low of about 55. Okay, 55. But what it has done is it has moved back into the Bollinger Band. It is still slightly tilted on the downwards over here, but we can start to see that the RSI is starting to hook up. Okay, so this may bode we may start to see an uptrend resume on the stock. But I'm holding back from any trade right now, okay, on this stock purely because we have an earnings over here, which you can see on my chart, that is coming out on the 23rd of September. Okay, so, being an option seller over here, we try to escape any non-controllable events or what we call binary events over here before we enter the trade. Now, so selling any options right now will be subjected to the duration of the event occurring. So I would rather wait out for the stock to announce its earnings, see what happens over there, and then takes the next move. Yeah, okay, take the next move from there. Okay, now, so GIS is definitely one of them. We have Kellogg's as well, all right, which has also suffered a severe sell-off, pretty much like consumer staples, okay, like GIS. Okay, it has also gone down pretty badly over here after breaking this support at about $68. Okay, so once it broke the support, there was selling coming into place over here, and it's now all the way down to 61. Okay, so I'll probably wait for the RSI to show some signs of cycling up, okay, before trying to attempt something going into this stock. Okay, so Kellogg's right now is sitting on the brink of its next support level, as you can see on the bigger scale, okay, at $62 over here, and if it breaks that, we'll probably see it go all the way down to 60, okay, where it has the next support level. Now, so I'll be eyeing some trades over here, but remaining patient and taking bite sizes into the market at the moment until it decides what it wants to do. Okay, now, so let's just jump into one last part before we end this market summary. So one thing that we have yet to see over here, it's really the spike in volatility index. Now, so we're still not seeing it happening despite all the market fear that is going on amidst the sell-off. So this still does not bode well, because it just means that the selling has not been participated yet. Okay, people are not freaking out. People are still pretty calm amidst the storm right now. So yes, we may see a snapback rally for a couple of days, or maybe until the end of the week. Okay, but after that, you should start getting out. You should start getting out of your positions over here if you have any, and they are profitable. And if you do know how to capture some trades on the short side, then you want to be looking at selling some of these rallies over here. All right, now, so this is what I have for you in today's market update in preparation for tonight's session in the US. So this is Terence Tan over here, the I'm Possible Investor, signing off for this market update. Now, if you have not clicked on the subscribe button to our videos, please do so. All right, and also check out our public Facebook group, Options for Cashflow with Terence, okay, where we post our articles, where you can participate, join in the discussion, learn more about the US stock market, as well as stock options trading over here, together with a community. Yeah, all right, so we look forward to welcoming you over here, and see you in the next video, everyone. Bye-bye.